So the Palisades fire was apparently started by an arsonist? They bagged somebody? Genuine question, like what evidence trail are they working with that they were able to grab somebody this late after the arson? That's a crazy... Naturally, a bunch of conservatives are already using this as an excuse to argue that the fact that all of Los Angeles is a tinderbox has nothing to do with climate change. You know, it was just an arsonist. 29-year-old man, Uber driver. Oh. Initial blaze was set near a popular hiking trail in the Pacific Palisades. Destroying 6,000 homes, killing 12 people. I remember this. Yes, yes. So, why? He had previously lived in the area and was reportedly obsessed with dystopian imagery, including AI-generated images on ChatGPT depicting burning cities. Okay. In one prompt, Mr. Rinderknecht allegedly requested, quote, a dystopian painting divided into distinct parts that blend together seamlessly. On the far left, there is a burning forest. Next to it, a crowd of people is running away from the fire, leading to the middle. Okay? So just a psychopathic arsonist? Guys, I don't think this is AI psychosis. AI psychosis is when a person is more or less stable and then engaging with AI makes them crazy. This guy's just an arsonist who was using AI. Authorities claim digital evidence links Mr. Rinderknecht to the fire, including a photo of a barbecue-style lighter found in his glove box that matched an image from his phone taken the day before the blaze. Okay. Arrested in Florida following a months-long investigation. They're going to sue him for $228 billion to cover the cost of the damage. So I guess we're just to take it then that, like, we're not going to learn any lessons about the climate from this. It's just totally normal that a guy with a barbecue lighter can light the entire Palisades on fire, you know? Like, that's just a stable society to live in. One in which one person with a barbecue lighter can devastate an enormous, like, it's like a structural... It would have been like after the London fire. What was it? What caused the London fire again? It was like some dipshit medieval artisan knocked over a lamp or whatever. I don't remember. Whatever caused that. It was a bakery. A bakery was left a-cooking. Okay, gotcha. It'd be like if somebody was like, okay, well, next time we build London, maybe just don't have any dipshit bakers. Like, no, you rebuild it out of stone, you fucking idiot. We did the same thing in Chicago. We did the same thing in Seattle. In Seattle, it was some wick lantern. I don't fucking know. But we did the same thing. At first, everything was built in wood because you can do it, you know, cheap. And then afterwards, after it all burnt down, we were like, okay, maybe a world in which an entire city goes up because of one guy's mistake is a bad world. Maybe we should make that not the world, and instead make it out of stone. Oh, boy. Need to boost Forest Service and do prescribed burns? True, but that's more of a, like, wilderness thing. This was the Palisades. I mean, fundamentally, the issue here is just that it's too fucking dry, man. It was already a desert, and now it's worse. Like, we've made it worse. Also, palm trees are really bad for fires because they're 1,000,000 feet tall, and the cinders that blow in like the firestorm, you know, go a really long distance. It's just we don't build sensibly. We don't build in a way that accommodates the environment. Why the fuck do we have grass lawns in Los Angeles? I lived in LA for 22 years, okay? Do you know how few people there have stone and succulent lawns? Even though stones and succulents are native to the environment, look great, you know, they're cool, nobody fucking uses them. Everyone just has grass lawns that they water. It's insane. What about what about Adobe style housing? Why the fuck are people building out of wood in LA? Look, everyone, go to LA. Next time you're in LA, okay? I want you to get up on the roof of a building and look around, all right? And I want you to find wood that can be used for building a house. Where? Where's the wood? I live in Seattle right now. I can go out out onto the street right now in front of my house and look around and see bountiful forests in every fucking direction, okay? You go to LA, where's the wood, buddy? There's a reason the people who lived here built out of stucco and goat shit or whatever the fuck. No. Let's just continue to build the American Southwest such that one arsonist is capable of causing $250 billion in damage. Jesus. Meanwhile, scientists are saying we have only 3 years left to limit warming to 1.5 C. Dog, that shit ain't happening. Soldier found in forest, etc., etc. That shit is not happening, okay? I want to see a news report on this.
Well, in the last hour, authorities in Los Angeles announced an arrest in connection to those deadly Palisade fires earlier this year. Destroyed so much property, caused hell for people down in LA.
I like this jacket.
That fire was part of a series of fires that sparked in January, and it's considered one of the largest fires in LA history. 12 people died, so many homes wiped out. So let's talk about the latest developments. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call. Okay, Chanel, what are you learning about what happened there and who they're fingering for this?
Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of new information released to us today, Reed. I mean, this was one of the most catastrophic fires in American history. And today, authorities are now saying, Reed, that they've arrested the person they believe is responsible. That person now identified as 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht. Listen to how officials believe that fire started.
After working the evening shift as an Uber driver, 2 of his passengers told law enforcement that he appeared...
How much of that $228 billion is jacked up housing prices? Oh, to be sure, yeah, the inflated value of California real estate is contributing to that number, but it is a shockingly expensive fire. It goes well beyond fire. People underestimate how damaging fires are because you think like, okay, well, it's just going to burn the wood. Everything is useless afterwards. The asphalt, the concrete, in a lot of cases, everything is useless. You basically have to rip the entire city up and start again. Wherever a fire's raged through. Those high temperatures, they structurally damage everything. Bridges, for example, you subject a bridge to high enough heat, you're like, oh, it's concrete. Concrete can be lit on fire. It doesn't do anything when I light, tinder on fire on concrete in my backyard. Sure. But structurally, that shit can't hold cars no more. It's only a matter of time,
agitated and angry that night. After dropping off a passenger in Pacific Palisades, Rinderknecht parked his car and tried and failed to contact a former friend. He exited the car, walked up a nearby trail, took iPhone videos at a nearby hilltop, and listened to a rap song whose music video including objects being lit on fire.
Okay.
The defendant had
a little bit on the nose. Jesus Christ. Fucking Mamimi ass one-note character. All right. Burnt the high school down.
Listened to this song and watched its music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the Lockman fire. 12 minutes into the new year, environmental sensing platforms indicated that a fire had started. It took the defendant several tries to contact 911 to report the fire. He fled the scene in his car, but turned around after passing fire engines driving in the opposite direction to fight the fire. While the Lockman fire burned, the defendant walked up the same trail from earlier that night to watch the fire and firefighters, using his iPhone to take short videos of the scene.
And Reed, investigators also believe that initial fire...
So did they just spy into Spotify, or did he admit to this? My guess is that they took like a profile of geotag data on information sent to and from the internet from phones that were in the adjacent to where the fire started, and once they had a number of people who could be potentially the culprit, the arsonist, they either arrested them and did additional inquiries, or they got a warrant to look into like their Spotify playlist history or whatever else. That doesn't sound like a real thing, buddy. Why do you think they say don't bring your phone to protests? Yeah, it's a real thing. Your phone's always communicating with local satellites and well, not local satellites, but you know what I mean, satellites and cell towers. If the law enforcement wants to, they can get like a grid of, like phone IDs that are connected to given areas and use that to, I don't know how the particulars work. I'm not like I'm not super educated on the process, but it's definitely tech that exists. And then after they had like a connection between him and the location and the phone ID, they were probably like, okay, let's take a look at this guy's. Oh, it turns out his video watch history was just a fucking arson themed rap song on repeat, and his Spotify playlist was all fire related. Okay, maybe we'll take a look at this guy. We'll take a look at John Forest Fire over here.
fire they were just talking about there was mostly suppressed by firefighters, but then embers continued to smolder and burn underground. Then when we saw high winds kick up, it then spread the fire, causing what we now know to be the Pacific Palisades fire. Officials also saying today, Reed, that these allegations that they're talking about, they say they're supported by digital evidence. In fact, some of that evidence also includes Rindernecht's ChatGPT history. They say that he prompted ChatGPT to give him a, quote, dystopian painting showing in part a burning forest. And
but don't they still need concrete evidence, like the stuff he used to start the fires? I mean, it seems like at this point they have what they need, but like you don't need concrete evidence. That's what the trial is for, to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. They just need enough to charge you, and they seem to have quite a bit here. I mean, it seems like they have the tool that he used to do it, a bunch of corroborating evidence to suggest he's the kind of person to have done it. I mean, you know, it'll all come out in the trial.
Crowd fleeing from it. I believe
Ew.
we have that ChatGPT photo to show you. This is it.
That looks like shit.
And this was prompted by Rindernecht, officials say, just months before the Pacific Palisades fire had started. This was and still is a pretty massive investigation, Reed, and it involves so many different agencies. We're talking about ATF, the LA County Fire Department, the LA Police Department, Orange County Fire Authority, and the U.S. Forest Service. They're all part of this. Together, they say they have analyzed 1.5 million phone records. They've processed 100 acres of damaged terrain. They've conducted, Reed, over 100 interviews and collected, get this, 13,000 pieces of evidence. So quite a substantial investigation already underway. Now, moving forward, here's what's going to happen.
Again, it's an extremely high-profile fire. Of course, they're going to throw, like, everything they can at the investigation, which, in this case, I'm glad they did, because, like, if you started the Palisades fire, buddy, your ass got to burn, too. I'm sorry. We're tying you to a post. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I spent too much time in my early life driving around that area. Okay, you've gotta pay.
Rindernecht, we know, has now been charged with felony destruction of a property by means of fire. And so if convicted, Reed, that carries a mandatory minimum of 5 years in federal prison.
He's not getting 5 years. He's lucky the trial's being conducted in California where the death penalty is illegal, because otherwise they would find a way. His ass is, yeah, they're sending him into the pit. There's no way.
To 20 years possible.
Well, from a fire...
It's not going to be 20 years possible. They're going to get him on, somehow they're going to get him on murder one for every person who died.
Trail to a digital trail. Those images you just showed are so chilling. For our viewers at home, if you want to get a closer up look at some of those images, you can go to the Instagram platform of CBS News' Jonathan Vigliotti. I don't know if you've seen them yet.
I'm not pro death penalty, but yeah, like you kill people. Dude, it's arson. Arson is like the worst fucking crime. It's crazy. It's murderous, but totally indiscriminate. You know, there's no potential for there to be any legitimizing circumstances to it. It's just totally, and all the destruction and the economy. I mean, arson is unforgivable. It's just like a universally wretched, you know, and it's been the enemy of mankind basically since day one, you know, since Prometheus yoinked that shit. It's been, you can't, there's no like conditional, oh well, in this case it wasn't that bad or whatever. It's just arson. It's really bad.
But he covered those fires extensively, and he has some of those AI images that will be now used as evidence. Chanel Call, thank you so much.
Yeah, there's no oopsie defense. Here, wrap it up with Fox 11.
Local and state lawmakers are reacting to this arrest. Fox 11's Nick Garcia has that part of the story.
What is this? What is this outfit? It's a white shirt, but it has like a leather corset built in. Fake leather. That's not real leather. I have no idea.
He joins us now live from East LA. Nick?
Right, Susan. Governor Newsom was here at this middle school in East LA to sign a different piece of legislation related to school meals, but he did also speak with us about that arson arrest made. Take a look.
They found the arsonist, and
we're gonna get him. We're gonna put him in the. We're gonna.
And then we'll look at the facts and judge on the basis of those facts.
Governor Gavin Newsom in L.A. the same day the arrest of Jonathan Rinderknecht was announced, the man accused of starting the flames that grew into the Palisades fire.
To have a little bit of closure. That said, it's cold comfort for those who lost their homes and are coming through the recovery.
L.A. City Councilwoman Tracy Park in the Palisades Wednesday.
What if they lit him on fire? They should, for restitution, they should imprison him and not let him go until he starts a $265 billion water. Undo all the damage he done.
Charges against the perpetrator demonstrate that it was a calculated, malicious act that unleashed death and destruction on innocent people. And while an arrest has finally been made, there is no justice equal to the pain that this community has endured.
While the arrest is long-awaited news, questions remain about the fire response.
I'm never satisfied. I'm never satisfied. I mean, we want to make sure that we are able to prevent anything like this from happening again, and we always have to look at ourselves and examine what we could have done better.
And this afternoon, just a little while ago...
LA is super, super fucked. Not only because of, like, the fact that it's super dry or whatever. The fact that it's so spread out makes it so difficult to deal with. Like, if a fire starts in a densely packed urban area, you can just flood the area. You have all the water connections, all the water line, the fire hydrants, you've got the trucks everywhere there. But if the fire is spreading across like the hillside adjacent to like a bunch of like loosely, rural kind of like, big backyard sort of wealthy houses at the edge of the hill and like, there's so much that can go wrong there. The reforms that would need to be made to the LA Fire Department to make it capable of dealing with the threat of future arson or just incidental forest fire would be like incredibly costly and very difficult to do. And it would take many, many, many years. Many years. Could LA build canals and fill them with what? Seawater? No.
Actually, the L.A. Fire Department released their after-action report related to the Palisades fire. The 70-page report highlights some of the challenges crews faced, including, I'm going to name some of them for you, crew fatigue, the lack of resources for the type of red flag weather the region was experiencing at that time, the delay in communicating evacuation orders, which then led to last-minute evacuations, which those routes clogged up traffic that blocked roads that crews were using to get to the fire. That was a big challenge. You may remember some of those images.
What about desalination, artificial rivers? What about like a unicorn that would wish away the fire? It's fucking desalination on the level that would be necessary to supplement LA's water use. I mean, that'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be cool. Good luck with the rising energy costs in California right now. Fitting that one in the bill. It just doesn't rain there. There's just not enough water. There shouldn't be that many people in LA. There shouldn't be fucking 10 million people in the county,
Again, this report breaks down hour by hour, in some cases minute by minute, the first 36 hours of the response to the Palisades fire. We're working through that, and we'll bring you more information later this evening. For now, live in East LA, though, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11.
Why can't you use seawater? Because seawater is corrosive. Seawater will corrode the pipes that it's in, given enough time, which is not that much time at all. Like if you build the water mains to carry seawater, for one, you have to have a separate set of mains. It can't be carrying fresh water for any other reason. It can't be connected to any kind of freshwater source because it'll poison the fresh water that we use to drink. And also the salt will build up, and also it corrodes the metal. It just doesn't work, Oh yeah, it also kills the soil after. That's true. If you start dumping seawater all over fires, like nothing will grow again on the earth. You've saturated the soil with a bunch of salt. Didn't you say San Francisco should have like 500 million people or something? Yeah, because it fucking rains there, man. San Francisco is like 400 miles north or something. Yes, that area, the Pacific Northwest is like God's country. It's the fucking Garden of Eve. It's crazy. From like San Francisco all the way up to Seattle, you have a belt of like perfect weather. Eden, not Eve. A belt of perfect weather that you could fit 1 billion people on. It's crazy. And then there's San Diego. I feel isn't San Diego a little bit rainier than LA? Right? Because by being a little bit further south, it's not at that like belt of not the Mojave, but the desert that stretches west. Like it's far enough south, it's a little bit closer to being tropical. I think San Diego is a teensy bit more like you could have a civilization here, you know? Death Valley? Yeah, I don't know. Hold on 1 second. America climate map. Yeah, it doesn't really show the fine details, which is kind of what I'm looking for here. God, look at all these differences. Okay. Yeah, here you've got San Diego. And then LA is right here. I'm stupid. Is LA is right here, right? Where my mouse is slowly circling. It's this curve, right? And the Palisades are right around here. Thereabouts? Am I off on that? Is it a different bend? I think that's the bend. You tell us you're from there? No, I that's what I remember, but you know, yeah. And the red is the death zone. You know, you don't want that hot desert climate. Yeah, orange hot semi-arid climate, but the yellow hot summer Mediterranean climate, right? And you can see. I guess they're pretty similar. Look, I've been to LA, I've been to San Diego. I feel like San Diego is a little bit less blighted during the summer. But look, if you go further north than that, man, again, you should have 1 billion people in the Pacific Northwest. Look at this belt. This right here, this like kind of puke green. This right here is civilization. Okay? You could build a Roman Empire right here. Have you been to Seattle? No, never been. There are a lot of Nazis up there? Nope. The Nazis are over in this area. They're in the rural area over to the east, okay? But the San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Tacoma, whatever, this belt right here, that's civilization. What do we call that? What's puke green? Warm summer Mediterranean climate. Guys, it's literally the fucking Roman Empire. That's literally the shit they was building that shit on. Back in 200 BC, okay? The Roman legionnaires who executed Jesus Christ went back home to a warm summer Mediterranean climate. We was Romans? I was. Don't know about you. But it's all mountains there? Nope. Not here. Not in this belt. Right here. This whole area? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. This belt's fine. This area of Seattle right here is all mountains, and then like to right here, and then this purple streak right here, that's all mountains. But this area, again, it's God's land, okay? Yeah, the purple is the Cascade Mountains, which are beautiful, by the way. I go up there pretty often. I feel like Death Valley needs a designation that is warmer than red. Actually, what's the TLDR on why LA even got so big in the first place then? I think there are a couple of reasons. For one, when it's not summer, the weather in LA is perfect basically 100% of the time. And two, I think it's that you have these like population centers on the East Coast, right? Like the East Coast is very populated, and then the South broadly is pretty well populated, right? A lot of people live in this part of the South, all the way up to, you know, here, Houston, Austin, right? The midpoint of Texas, because past that it starts to get a little bit less hospitable, you know? But if you're moving west of here, how do you do it? You've got all the goddamn mountains in the universe blocking your way. You kind of have like, you're narrowed into a couple of corridors, and you can stop in, you know, Wyoming or Denver if you want, but if you're making it through, you kind of have to find a population center, and there's a few points on the coast that you settle on, and for everyone coming in like down here in the lower third, you end up in LA basically. That's like a simplification, but I think that's what initially drove the big hub to LA. There was a lot of money there. There was a lot of space there. They were expanding and building out very quickly. And also, back in the days when LA actually built new housing, it was very, very attractive, the idea of living in a space that was urban, but still had big, roomy, single-family houses to live in. Keep in mind that back in like 1930, if you were living anywhere on the East Coast and you wanted to live in the city, or like work in the city or do anything in the city, you either had to have a car, which was not super available or easy to access back then, or you had to live in the city, in which case you're living in like a tenement building or a tiny little townhome or an apartment, and it's all small and cramped. And then you can go over to LA and it's like, whoa, over in LA, you can be in the city and have like a big house, like a ranch style house, you know? So there's a lot of money, there's a lot of space, there's a lot of like accessibility there. It was like a big new thing. And then cars became more popular and cheaper, and all of a sudden in LA you can drive anywhere. LA was built for the roads, baby. Yeah, they had a tram network that they tore down, but the whole city opened up to you if you had vehicles, which, what are you doing with a car if you live in New York? What are you doing with a car if you live in Boston, right? Like, you can do something with it, but in LA, buddy, you can drive around the mountain roads. You can go anywhere. So I think that for a time, LA was very attractive to people. Likewise, to a lesser extent, San Diego. And yes, there was an oil boom that ended up like filtering a lot of wealth back in the community. California did have a lot of oil. It still to an extent does. You all get what I'm talking about, right? Not to mention all of the benefits you get from being like able to capitalize on America's basically only West Coast ports. I mean, you build out here, the port of Long Beach is fucking massive, and then it's like, you can trade with all of Asia, way easier. So all of these Asian countries are opening up to trade. They're interested in trading with you. Now they can travel only a couple thousand miles rather than fucking infinity miles to go around the other side. You get me. So all of that, there was a point in time where LA was probably goated with the sauce. I think that if you were in LA during the 60s or 70s, it probably felt like you were in God's country. But unfortunately, the planet has gotten hotter, and a lot of the social and technological intersections that made LA really attractive now make it very unattractive. The freedom of cars turned into traffic everywhere all the time, and all the roads are too wide and nobody can walk anywhere. The temperature kicked up a little bit, and now the summers are getting longer and hotter, and there's no shade. Why there are no major cities on the Pacific Northwest coast. Okay, wait, to be clear, I'm not saying there should be cities on the coast.
Washington and Oregon.
Whoa. On the coast, because the coast of the Pacific Northwest is pretty inhospitable. What I'm talking about is like inland bit, like here, like San Francisco, here, the Bay Area, and then up, and then like this belt right here, where you could easily fit like 100 million people up there. The coast of Washington is all fog, and like the coast of Washington and the coast of Northern Oregon feel like you are in a Lovecraft novel. Has anyone been there? You go up it's a Silent Hill beach. You go up there and the fog rolls in and you can see 5 feet in front of you, and there's a foghorn in the distance, but you don't see anything and you don't know what's happening, and you turn around and the girl who got away in college is standing there, but then you rub your eyes to make sure it's real and she's not there anymore. You turn to see lights in the fog and you realize that it's your car, but you didn't leave the lights on. Like, that's the coast. Admittedly, having a city built there would be pretty cool for like horror reasons. This is very specific. It's literally true. That's literally what it feels like. Spiritually, this slice of the coast, it feels like this portion of the East Coast right here. That chunk of Maine to what's this province in Canada called? I'm blanking. I normally know. It's got like 3 letters. It's Nova Scotia, the coolest sounding one. New Brunswick. People said 3 things. Okay, fine. New Brunswick, whatever it is. Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, whatever it is. I don't care. But this section right here, which is a deeply cursed part of the world, not neg, by the way. Parentheses pause question mark. Newfoundland is the island. Okay, then I'm talking about Nova Scotia because I'm talking about this portion right here. Well, anyway, you all get me. Hold on, I want to see a bit of this.
Are home to many large cities, from the large metro regions of Seattle and Portland to the smaller but still prominent cities of Spokane and Eugene. There's no shortage
We don't talk about Spokane.
of major cities in the Pacific Northwest, but all of these cities are located away from the Pacific coastline, leaving a large stretch without any major cities to call its own.
Why not? Because it's part of Idaho.
Why are there no major cities along Washington and Oregon's coastline? And at the heart of this, of course, is the region's unique physical geography. Its dramatic physical geography, a landscape quite unlike any other part of the United States, and one that's very different from the long sandy beaches that most associate with ocean states. At its northern end, the Olympic Peninsula is
here we go. See, this is what I'm talking about, okay? It's literally like a deep, cold, wet rainforest with permafog. And you know how San Francisco gets fog? The San Francisco fog is nothing compared to the fog that the coast of the Pacific Northwest gets. I lived in Humboldt for a while, and fog was like a daily thing there, like full blanketed, like the whole city fog, basically, during the right seasons.
Untamed region. Here, the Olympic Mountains rise dramatically, their western slopes drenched by some of the highest annual rainfall in North America, feeding temperate rainforests that stretch nearly to the ocean's edge. In fact, some parts of the Olympic Peninsula, such as the Hoh Rainforest, get as much as 12 feet of rain every single year.
Yes, sir.
By comparison, just 75 miles east, the wet and rainy city of Seattle gets just 40 inches of rain per year. And the coastline itself is primarily rocky headlands, secluded coves, and long driftwood-strewn beaches, shaped by relentless ocean waves and the uplift of tectonic forces. Southward into Washington's Gray Harbor and Willapa Bay, the Washington coast softens into broader estuaries and sandy spits.
Beautiful.
A testament to powerful rivers, such as the Chehalis.
I just got here. Did I already cover the ceasefire? Hold your dang horses, buddy. Okay, rein them in. Bring them into the saddles. We're just taking a moment here. We're pausing. It's a long travel. Okay? Pilgrim, take a break for a moment.
And the Willapa.
He's asking chat, not you. He knew the risks when he typed. He knew the risks when he hit enter.
Drain the interior and meet the sea. Continuing south into Oregon, the scenic Oregon coast truly lives up
Look at that fog. Dude, look at that fog over there. It's like a fucking wall.
its name. This stretch, from the Columbia River to the California border, is renowned for its iconic sea stacks, towering rock formations carved by millennia of erosion, and dramatic cliffs. Here, the coastline areas of the Pacific Northwest. It's steep, dry. Pacific Northwest. Often described as a modified oceanic climate, it's overwhelmingly cool, wet, and notably windy.
It is pretty cool.
Especially during the autumn and winter months. The proximity to the vast Pacific Ocean combined...
There we go. Here, I'm just gonna leave it on this because that's a really good picture. This reminds me of what it was like being up in Humboldt. Oregon coast. No, I agree. It'd be a fun trip, yeah. Beautiful, though. There's a reason why the Pacific Northwest is like cryptid hub for America, and it's because if you are even like a little bit too close to the water, you know, people get lost in the night. Did you guys get those massive storm cells, or is that a Gulf thing? Nah. There's not big storms there. It's not warm enough to really get those really aggressive, you know, it's not like hurricanes, for example. The Pacific Northwest doesn't really get hurricanes at all. Honestly, it's pretty, listen, I'm being serious when I say it's God country, okay? It is a perfect place to live. It's literally warm summer Mediterranean climate coded in the map that we looked at, which is warm Mediterranean summer is like universally acknowledged as a perfect, like that's as good as it gets. What do you mean? Warm Mediterranean, it's like there's not a culture on earth that wouldn't hear that and go like, oh, that sounds nice, you know? I'm not a big fan of like Italy or whatever, but that sounds nice. Also, yeah, all the trees are 100 meters tall. Alan Wake and Gravity Falls are respectively set in Washington State and Oregon, Vosh. Richard Fallis, you're such a fucking zoomer. You mention Gravity Falls and Alan Wake and you don't mention fucking Twin Peaks! Yeah, but isn't there a giant lake to darkness in Washington? I mean, if you fall into it, it gets dark, yeah. All right.